Good morning.
Good morning.
If you could just say your name for the record, that would be
Yes. My name is Tim Camisa. Thank you for inviting me here to speak with you today. I'm the CEO of Vermont Organics Reclamation, which is in St. Albans, a short drive from St. Albans Bay. Vermont Organics recovers, reuses, and exports excess phosphorus, a concept that the state should consider as it moves forward in this process. But more on that in a minute. First, I want to tell you about a black and white photo that hangs from the filing cabinet in my office. It's a picture of me swinging a tennis racket during the Green Bay Classic, a tennis tournament held on St. Albans Bay in July, where green is the color of the water along the shore. What's jarring about the photo, however, is that it was taken 35 years ago when I was in high school. And although the Green Bay Classic is gone, we could still hold it today. Jump ahead to the summer of 2001. I am at my father's lakeside home on St. Albans Bay with my children. It's hot, they're sweltering, they're young, they want to be in the water. I'm sorry, but you can't go in the lake, my father says. My kids are confused. Come see why, Dad says. The water along his property and all along the properties near his looks as though someone dumped buckets of green and blue paint into it. Toxic blue-green algae blooms are the cause. Sorry kids, no swimming allowed, even if it is Lake Champlain. If you have children or grandchildren, you can probably imagine how the rest of that day went. I studied math and physics at the University of Vermont. Buckminster Fuller is my hero. So it stands to reason that, after this incident at my father's home, I would spend the next year analyzing nearly 50 Lake Champlain water quality reports the state had commissioned over decades. This research identified several sources of pollution causing runoff, but the most prevalent then and the most dominant today, according to the research we've seen, was agricultural runoff. Clearly, the data has consistently shown that although manure is an asset, it's also a problem. Excess phosphorus is a problem. We all know it. That's when it hit me. Why can't we remove the phosphorus and other excess nutrients in manure and stop them from even reaching runoff in the first place? Why not recover it? Why not reuse it? Why not help farmers earn extra money while we help our watersheds? I saw environmental and economic opportunity in the byproduct of a dairy cow. How Vermont is that? After years of design, research, and raising capital, some of which included a six-figure state and federal grant, the result was Vermont Organics. My business partner, Mike Rooney, and I have created a revolutionary manure management system that captures and recycles excess phosphorus and other nutrients in cow manure. We purchase this manure from local farmers, and along with other organic materials such as coffee skins and coconut, create a line of Vermont brand green industry soil amendments. These products contain more organic matter than others in the market, and we try to save the lake in the process. Vermont Organics also has mobile capability. With a trailer-driven mobile unit, our company could remove 150 to 200 yards of solids per day from a single farm. With an estimated 1/2 pound of phosphorus in a single yard of solids, Vermont Organics could remove 75 to 100 pounds of phosphorus a day from that single farm. Therefore, if Vermont Organics runs its mobile processing unit from April 1 to December 1 in a given year, 6 days per week, it could remove 16 to 22,000 pounds of phosphorus from 25 to 40 participating smaller farms. And we can do the big farms as well. This mobile processing equipment has a 7-year lifespan and it requires regular maintenance. Vermont Organics pays a farmer $6 to $8 per yard for his solids. This process comes at no cost to the farmer, and it can be applied to small and large farms with no investment required on behalf of the farmer. But there's more. Most commercial soils contain about 80 grams of phosphorus. When Vermonters buy these products, they are importing unwanted pollutants into our watershed. So instead of the farmer spreading manure and the gardeners buying their garden soil and other things, we're going to spread less manure, process the manure we didn't spread into products for the gardener, so that a bag of Miracle-Gro with 80 grams of phosphorus in it doesn't come into the watershed. So we export and we prevent imports. Our soils are peat-free. Vermont Organics detracts from harvesting peat because it is a stable carbon, and through harvesting peat there is emission of greenhouse gases. Peat and other materials like it should stay in the ground where they belong. It was a plant that took carbon out of the air, put it in a stable form, and it's moving back down into the ground. This is our ultimate goal at Vermont Organics, to take volatile solids, gather and make them stable so that they won't degrade, and keep them out of the atmosphere. We have created an unprecedented way to protect earth, air, and water. I could talk all day about the concepts we're exploring and developing at Vermont Organics, but today we are focusing on the water. Currently, Vermont Organics manufactures 6 soil products, including one called Raised Bed Recharge, which is an entirely new product on the market that is catching momentum with fast-growing raised bed garden industry. One of our national accounts is Home Depot, where we just started selling products online. We have 13 different sized bag products for sale on homedepot.com right now. Initially, our customers have hailed from California, Florida, and Alabama, Texas, Ohio. We've shipped almost to 20 states so far in just 3 weeks. These purchases point to another aspect of Vermont Organics. We have created a phosphorus export program. We give the nutrients we don't want in our watershed to growers in areas of the U.S. where the soil is not as rich. While devising a plan for the EPA, we should remember that other people in other regions of the U.S. need excess nutrients and organic material that we don't want. So Vermont Organics offers a free cleanup program for farmers and a way to help alleviate their worries over frustrating and costly nutrient management plans. A phosphorus recovery, reuse, and export program. A Vermont brand green industry environmentally friendly product. Mobile capability to reduce our carbon footprint. One screw press can take care of 25 to 40 farms instead of putting a screw press on every farm. A screw press is already an accepted agricultural practice. And jobs. We have about 8 people there right now. Home Depot is gearing up, and that's going to have to double soon. We are creating jobs in Vermont, and there is ample opportunity for more with the right line of thinking. Over the past year, we have ramped up production at Vermont Organics. At the same time, we are receiving more publicity and playing host to many guests that are interested in learning more about our process, our products, and the benefits of both. We can make connections to the increased frequency of these events in last year's announcement from the EPA about a new TMDL for Lake Champlain. The visitors to our facility have ranged from school and government officials to researchers and representatives from the Conservation Law Foundation. And any of you are welcome anytime, and several here have already been up. I am clearly paraphrasing here, but when people come see our innovations, they hear about the current crisis facing Lake Champlain. Because it is a crisis, they always ask me the same thing. Why doesn't anyone jump on this? It can help. Unfortunately, I never have an answer. Then I find myself wishing I did. Then I find myself wondering the same. When I read H586, I have the same reaction that the EPA has had to the state's draft plan for cleaning the lake. It's a valiant effort, but give me more, and give me something different, so that this process gives me hope. I testified at 2 lake-related hearings the EPA and state held late last year in St. Albans and Burlington. At those hearings, officials presented data, pie charts, and analysis that clearly showed the prevalent source of pollutant runoff. The problem is clear. However, when I read 586, I do not see solutions listed equal to the primary problem presented at those December hearings. New ideas seem to target other source areas where the pollution contribution is not as significant, while there is a rehashing of old ideas to address the obvious age-old conundrum, ag runoff. Why do we still talk so much about holding back the water and the runoff in it? These methods are very important, don't get me wrong, but they need augmentation, something else. The data shows that. We can't meet the balance in the northern and southern lakes. The EPA is asking us for that. I also don't agree with the proposal in 586 to relax the winter spreading ban. Put simply, I think this is a bad idea. Rather than tell you why, I would instead urge you to look outside as you drive home today. Think how this winter has transpired through ice storms, freezes, and thaws, and now the real potential for heavy spring flooding. Then consider what this winter means for polluted runoff in Vermont this year, and what that means for the lake this summer. And just as a quick aside, 2 years ago I offered my mobile processing capabilities to the State Ag Department to help offset the need for winter spreading between December 15 and April 15. If the manure can get out of the pit into the tanker, it can go right into my system. Now, speaking of the weather, I was disappointed that the state's draft plan to the EPA did not address runoff as it relates to climate change. Hi, Scott. A watershed group leader told me that she watched one of her organization's grant-funded projects get washed away in a single storm during the heavy rains of May and June last year. That's just one grant getting flushed downstream. Where else is this happening in Vermont? Climate change is not only a factor here, it's a priority. As the state proceeds to create a plan with the EPA and to hone and adopt 586, there must be a component that addresses phosphorus recovery and its potential reuses. In a March 6 story published in Vermont Digger, Governor Shumlin said he would not pledge any new state money to the issue this year. He has also told his administration he would not spend a dime until he saw a plan that could work. We spent a lot of loot over the last 10 to 20 years in Vermont on this one, Shumlin said in the article, and the results have been pretty paltry. I would urge the governor and his administration to truly consider why that is. Instead of creating solutions with costs in mind first, where the proposed revenue streams don't directly address the main source of pollutants, we should work together and steer at least part of this conversation towards phosphorus reclamation. Why would we talk about raising more fees and taxes when we could create a group of people to look at further reclamation and its benefits? Can we reuse phosphorus? Can this help the lake? And can it economically help Vermont? The answer is sitting in front of you, offering himself and his business as part of your lake cleanup plan. Let Vermont Organics be part of your solution. Before I close, I'd like to thank the Conservation Law Foundation for suing the EPA and starting this vital conversation. On the other side of the same coin, I never want to see the Conservation Law Foundation sue the EPA over Lake Champlain again. I also want to tell you about a phone call I received last summer from a Michigan businessman who works in the Michigan dairy industry. What do you pay farmers for your service, he asked. Pay, I said. I pay the farmer. He was shocked. You pay the farmer? Out here, the farmer would pay us. They want the stuff gone. If Vermont Organics were based in the Chesapeake Bay watershed, where there are phosphorus trading programs, I speculate that farmers would knock on my door every single day.